Hey class, if you're getting this as a recommended video, this is the problem that we worked in seminar back in Unit 9, and this is the one that gives you tons of boxes to fill in the quiz question. So I'm just going to walk you through the slides, or it might be a good idea to actually go back and watch the Unit 9 recording of the seminar when we went through it pretty much step by step. But basically this problem gives you a hypothetical population that's made up of only 3 values. In this case, the values are 2, 4, and 10. And so we have the ability to find the mean of the entire population, which is the symbol mu, because to get the mean of the entire population, all you do is get the mean of these numbers 2, 4, and 10. And to get the mean, of course, you just add and divide. So if I add up 2 plus 4 plus 10, and since there were 3 values, if I divide by 3, then that is 16 divided by 3, which is approximately 5.3. That is the mean of the entire population. But yet this question on your quiz is going to get you to go through and find all the possible samples from this small population. And they want the sample sizes to be size 2. It says it here over here on the left, and you'll also see that in the question on your quiz. So what you have to realize is that if you are picking from 3 values, and the values as stated over here are 2, 4, 10, now of course your values will be different on the quiz question, then if you're only picking 2 from this population, but it says with replacement, meaning whatever you pick on the first pick, you put that number back. So that each time you pick a number, you have 3 choices. So when you pick your first number, you have 3 choices. And when you pick your second number, you also have 3 choices, because you can either end up choosing the number 2, 4, or 10. So if you multiply 3 choices times 3 choices times 3 choices, that means you should have 9 total possible samples. That will be important because at the beginning of this question, they're going to get you to pick a multiple choice as to which choice is showing all the possible samples and sample means. Well, you want to make sure you pick the one that's got 9 total possible samples. We're then going to list all of them, and then we will calculate the sample mean. So the first thing to realize is out of a population of 3 values and you're picking any 2, you've got 9 total possible samples. All right, so to list those 9, my suggestion in seminar and also, if you watch the recording and also now, my suggestion in order to list all those samples is to do a tree diagram. So let me go ahead and just roughly sketch the tree diagram again. So to come up with all 9 possible samples, let me finish erasing this. Okay, our first pick can either be, so I'm just going to outline our first pick, can either be the number 2, 4, or 10. Those are the only 3 values in the entire population. Our second pick, similarly, can only be the numbers 2, 4, or 10. 2, 4, or 10. And by doing the tree diagram like this, you'll easily be able to see what your 9 samples are. The first one is getting a 2 and a 2. So a 2 and a 2. The next one is getting a 2 and then a 4. So 2-4. Then a 2-10. Down here, you might get a 4 and then a 2, which is different from getting a 2 first and then the 4. Then you might get a 4 and another 4, or you might get a 4 and then a 10. And down here in the bottom branches, you might get a 10 first and then a 2, which is right here. You might get a 10 first and then a 4, or you might get a 10 and then another 10. Those are your 9 samples that are possible. But you are going to be asked to then give the sample means. Well, to give a sample mean, you just average these 2 values. So 2 plus 2 is 4, but 4 divided by 2 is a 2. So I'm just now over here listing the sample means, which is the symbol X bar. If I add up these, I get 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. If I add up these, I get 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So to get these sample means, I'm just adding the two numbers and dividing by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And 6 and 7, and let's see, 20 divided by 2 is 10. All right. You will then be asked to give the probabilities as a simplified fraction. And so what you're going to do here, our only possible sample means, if you notice over here in this column, our only possible sample means are a 2, a 3, a 4, let's see, a 6, a 7, and a 10. But to get their probabilities as simplified fractions, I want to notice that out of all of these 9 possibilities, only one is a 2 up here. So that is only 1 out of 9 possibilities of getting a sample mean of 2. For the 3, we have 2 out of 9 possibilities. So the probability of that in simplified fraction form is 2/9. For the 4, we only see 1 4, so that's a probability of 1/9. For the 6, I see 2 possibilities here. For the 7, I also see 2 possibilities right here. And then for the 10, I only see 1 possible way to get a sample mean of 10, so that's only 1 out of 9. And so those are your simplified fraction probabilities. And, you know, in this question, it'll have boxes that you got to fill in with all these things. So, and then ultimately, all you would do is show that if we average out all of these sample means right here, so let me just add all of these numbers. Let's see, 5 and 6 is 11. 14, 18, 25, 31, 38, 48, I think. Let me grab my calculator. All right, so yeah, so if you get this, if you add up and average out all the possible sample means, I end up adding these up and getting 48, but since there's 9 of them, I divide by 9, and 48 divided by 9 is also 5.3. So that is just meant to show you that if you average up all the sample means, then it will always equal the mean of the entire population. And remember at the beginning, I showed you that the mean of the population by just averaging the numbers 2, 4, and 10 was also 5.3. That will always happen. If you can show all possible samples and get all possible sample means, then the average of all those sample means will be the average of the true population. And what we refer to that as is that the sample means are called unbiased estimators. All right? That sample means are referred to as unbiased estimators because they're unbiased. They'll always average out to be the true population mean. And so that should be enough by walking you through this of being able to walk through that tedious quiz question. You just have to take it slowly. I would strongly suggest doing the tree diagram like I showed here to help you get all those possible samples and their sample means.